Howdy, my name's Rich and I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu hobbyist and I make videos for fun. This particular session we were working bottom side half guard in class, so in keeping with my desire to try and be a little bit more intentional with my training, tried to start in that position or force it. Training with Pat here, and Pat's trying to pull away, so I'm just putting as much pressure into Pat as I can, controlling that top leg. Pat's going to go for a baseball bat choke here, nice and sneaky. Felt it coming though, and my favorite counter to this is just abandon whatever I was doing and go for that free arm on top. Normally it spooks them enough to get them to let go. If you can't get someone to let go of that baseball bat choke with their, death vice grips, it can be a pretty intimidating, panic-inducing situation. Trying to get back into that bottom side half guard position from class, and I think Pat's wised up a little bit to it, so he's not letting me use that technique again. But here I'm controlling that bottom leg and do kind of like a inverted triangle berimbolo thing straight into top control again, which is cool. I think this is 3/4 mount, not quite 3/4 mount. It's like I don't even know what to call this, but it's a good position. Riding those hips, just trying to keep as much of my weight on Pat as I can, usually putting as much weight and as much contact as I can so that I can try and sap some of his energy. Tried to pull him out of his turtle stance there. I'm not very good at forcing hooks in because I've got abnormally long feet or big feet, so it's kind of difficult for me to force my hooks in, but we end up in this little position here. I've got a triangle cinched up, but there is no alignment on the shoulders there for me, so as a control position it's okay to stop Pat from doing what he's doing, but ultimately decided to bail on that because there was going to be a lot of work and a lot of force required to get the submission there. But not only was I controlling Pat, I was also controlling me and stopping me from progressing. I like this bottom side half guard position here, using my left leg on his right leg to try and internally rotate his femur. Most people don't have very much range of motion just anatomically with that internal rotation of the hip. It's just kind of like a limitation of most people. I have particularly bad hip internal rotation, so capitalizing on that and using some leverage to force internal rotation of that hip is good because it actually turns their entire body. It's painful and it's a bit jarring. Somehow ended up on bottom side half guard again here, which is fine. Going again for that internal rotation of the hip, but Pat's putting in really good pressure, and I choose to come back up to the dogfight, stuff his mount, which is good. I will slow that down so that you can see. But as he was going for the mount there, I just made sure to get my knee in to stop him from completing the reversal. A nice little back step there. A bit of a bad habit of mine. It's okay if you manage to get a good position off of it, or you know exactly what you're back stepping into. I think it can be a bit of a trap, though. It feels nice to do it, but it's certainly not the best option when you lose control of your opponent. I think here Pat ends up on top with some nice pressure, and the roll is finished. But yeah, really nice roll there with Pat. Moving on to my role with Alex here. Again, forcing that bottom side half guard position, and Alex has got a really nice kind of, not a body lock, but like he's got a nice, I don't know what to call it, but just a locking pass where he locks down the legs and swims around them. Really nice, gets all the way around. I felt a bit bad posting on his head there, but it's the technique. I managed to swim my legs in and sweep him over, and now we're in a very narrow position for the pass, trying to work this half guard pressure passing, trying to keep my head between his left shoulder and his head. I can see here that I'm failing with that, but that might just also be because he's pushing away. But I picked this up at a seminar recently at the gym from one of New Zealand's highest level grapplers, Jared Dell, and butchering the technique here. I know I am because it's not working, but just trying to pass while staying off my knees and keeping my weight and pressure into Alex the entire time. Here Alex locks up my legs, and I think if he'd have tried to topple me left or right, it might have been better, but he was staying in that forward and backwards plane, and now I've got a leg free, so I can move around. He's quite sticky with it though. Really nice rolling with Alex. We can push hard without hurting each other, which is nice. Here again, kind of a similar situation to what I had with Patrick before, and this might actually speak more to my inability to finish or inability to adjust, but when I get to positions like this where I've got an almost position and I'm kind of 80% of the way to a triangle or 80% of the way to something, but it's just not quite there, I would prefer to let it go and keep the roll moving. I have more chance to get back on top, like is happening now, and to try and get back into that top half guard position so that I can practice something that I want to practice instead of staying in a spot where I didn't really have an intention of being there and finishing for the sake of finishing. Alex sweeps me here really nice, caught me off balanced and got me good. I'm putting pressure through his hips with my right shin there so that he can't come up. And I break the entanglement and break his grips and manage to do kind of like a backwards roll back into side control. And I need to be careful here because Alex has kind of got half of a crucifix here, or he has got a crucifix grip here. He could push my head and bring his left leg underneath it and lock it up for a triangle. But I'm putting a lot of weight through my body, through my head, into the ground, so he's actually unable to hook that leg over. I disengage, and now I'm just trying to keep my knee and keep putting pressure into Alex so that he can't come up. Again with the high step passing. Really, really nice technique. I learned again with I think that was hip external rotation there, just to allow me to get that high step pass. For here, I'm just driving my head into Alex's diaphragm for the end of the round, and it's over as soon as it began, but another really nice roll with Alex. And moving on to my roll with Jade, again trying to start in that bottom side half position, and Jade's done a really good job of just pressuring me out of it. Not sure what's happened to the video footage here. Been having some issues with my iPhone 11. Unfortunately, the quality changes quite a bit from when I take it to when I transfer it to my computer to chuck into Clipchamp. It's hilarious that I'm using Clipchamp. It's a free Microsoft video editor, but it's not bad. Jade's always had really good pressure. I remember first training with Jade and thinking, holy smokes, this woman's got some fire in her, and she does. She's really good. She's a no-gi competitor, and she runs kids classes as well. So she's really good. I think she's, more of a submission grappler than like a gi jiu-jitsu person, which I think is, not a bad thing. That was quite a nice little pommeling technique there. Just isolating that leg And if you've got the flexibility and mobility to do it, pommeling is really useful. Again, just trying to keep pressure and isolate limbs here. I've kind of mucked up with the balance here, but just moving dynamically. Jade's a bit lighter than me, and she's certainly got strong technique, but I have a size, length, and strength advantage here, so I'm just mindful of that and not overusing those attributes to kind of make up for the danger that she puts me in, which is really good. Not danger in a bad way, but danger in a way of, she's got good techniques and good pace, and she's also being careful because she knows about my injuries and stuff. So I really appreciate that. She had some nice toe hold positions and stuff that she's not slamming on. Good pressure here from Jade, but I am always waiting for that transition. It seems to always be in the transitions where you go from one position to another, even if you've got good knee on belly and you're wanting to transition into mount or something. It seems to always be in the transitions that you lose your position. So it's one of those things that you have to really take your time, and I get this a lot when I roll with David, actually, as I know it's very difficult for me to transition because he's waiting for the transition to cinch up a half guard or cinch up a safer position, so it's very difficult to mount David. Nice quick roll here with Jade, and yeah, that's it for the rolls.